Hey, what is up guys? Epic Pokemon TCG here, and today guys, I've actually got a pretty sweet deck profile for you. We're going to be taking a look at the deck that got second place at the Danish Nationals. And yeah, this list is pretty cool. This list was constructed by a player named Luca, and I actually have another list that I'm going to be covering later in the week that is pretty crazy. But I would figure I'll go ahead and cover this one first. And the main attacker of this deck is Vespiquen. Now, we've seen Vespiquen splashed into a lot of decks in previous history, such as Vespiquen Eevees, Vespiquen Night March, Vespiquen Vileplume, and really the list goes on. There's been a lot of stuff that's been splashed in with Vespiquen. It's been pretty good. But pretty much, it of course has the attack Intelligence Gathering, 10 damage, and then you may draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. But more so less, the attack we're going to be doing the most, and probably like pretty much all the time, is going to be Bee Revenge. It does 20 plus damage, and then this attack does 10 more damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile. So pretty much we run about 27 Pokemon in here, as you can see right there. And so you're going to be doing a lot of damage, but you don't necessarily need to attack with Vespiquen all the time in every single matchup. There are other Pokemon in this deck that you can attack with for different matchups and different scenarios. And the next one we're going to take a look at is the 2-2 Raichu we have in here. It has the attack Circle Circuit. This attack does 20 damage times the number of your bench Pokemon. So pretty much if you have 5 bench Pokemon, that's 100 damage. And this is really good against Pokemon that are weak to electric, and Pokemon that can stop basics from attacking, such as, like Safeguard Pokemon if you're an expanded, and of course cards like Jolteon. And really, it's just all around a pretty solid attacker. But another card we're actually going to pair up with this that is an electric type is going to be Zebstrika. Now, Zebstrika is a very interesting card. It has the ability Zap Zone. Damage from the attacks of your electric Pokemon isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So let's say you have Raichu out and your opponent has an Aegislash and you have a Zebstrika on your bench. You can still attack with Raichu if you have a DCE on it. So that's pretty sweet and something to definitely note. Also, I think this gets past Jirachi as well. So, Zebstrika comes into just a lot of handiness whenever you're attacking with Raichu and you get into those situations where maybe your opponent has something preventing you from it, and you can kind of just throw down Zebstrika and then, well, all your problems go away. But this is also very, very good against cards like Yveltal EX and regular Yveltal because it has the attack Crashing Bolt. What it does 50 plus damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon has fighting resistance, this attack does 60 more damage. So pretty much you're one-shotting an Yveltal EX, which is very good because sometimes you won't always have the capability to one-shot Pokemon that might be weak to electric with Raichu. So Zebstrika is in there to do a ton of damage. Now, of course, if you don't need these Pokemon, you can discard them, and I'll get to that here in a second. But another card we're actually going to be playing 3 of, and it's going to serve a few purposes in this deck. One of which being Energy Acceleration, just in case you might be running a little low on energy, but also is a very good counter to Night March. And that's going to be regular Yveltal. It has the attack Oblivion Wing, which is the one you're going to be doing pretty much all the time. I don't see why you would attach 3 energies to it, but, of course, that is an option. But it has Oblivion Wing, and what it does 30 damage and attach a Dark Energy card from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. So if you do run into Night March, Yveltal is in here pretty much to just wreck phase, and this is just really a solid attacker, and you can just attach 1 energy and kind of soften up Pokemon, make it a little easier to knock out with Vespiquen, or maybe knock out with Raichu or something like that. But this is just a pretty good one-prize attacker that is really good in a lot of different matchups. Also, this is very good against Trevenant too, because you can hit him for a little decent amount of damage. And then we run Force Shaman. Force Shaman is in here because, of course, you need to do the setup ability, but it's also in here so you have a little more fuel to discard stuff in late game because you don't want to slap down all Force Shaman EX because that's just asking for your opponent to chain Lysanders and win the game. But pretty much Shaman is in here so that way you can set up and have a little extra damage. And now the final Pokemon we're going to take a look at before we take a look at the one that's pretty sweet in here as well is going to be Bunnelby. And pretty much Bunnelby is just in here for the Rototiller. I guess that's how you say it, attack's name. Rototiller, which is shuffle a card from your discard pile back into your deck. So this is really good because you can shuffle your DCEs back in, or maybe like an attacker or something like that. But actually forgot this little dude. We actually run 1 Jirachi in here too. Jirachi is in here for Stardust. Just get rid of a special energy, and then next turn your opponent can't attack Jirachi, and they have to pretty much Lysander or something like that. Now the funny thing is like for a lot of decks that don't prepare for this, I don't know why you wouldn't. If you do 1 Stardust and you get it set up right, you pretty much win, and that's pretty good. But the final Pokemon we're going to take a look at is the one that really makes this deck kind of accelerate and start going off, which is going to be Unknown. And it's in here for the Farewell Letter ability. Pretty much if this is on your bench, you can discard it and draw a card. So not only are you kind of going through your deck a little faster, but you're also adding extra damage for Vespiquen. And really this card is just, it's a card, it's like pretty much you're running 50 or 56 cards in your deck if you don't start with it, because you can just kind of play it down immediately and draw a card. So this is a very good card and one that has obvious synergy with Vespiquen. Also do want to apologize if I sound dead tired, because I am. But that's going to do it for the Pokemon. We're going to take a look at the supporters real quick. We run 3 Professor Sycamore, pretty obvious, the best draw supporter in the game. Run 1 In's just another really good draw supporter. 1 Lysander, you never know when you might need to pick up something off the bench. 1 AZ, maybe you might have a bad starter, or you might need to do your Shaman again, or maybe you want to bring up something that might be knocked out, or just whatever. AZ's in here for a lot of different options. And then we run 1 Xerosic. This is really good in here for, honestly, like maybe Spirit Links or something like that, because Spirit Links can, like, going against Megas in general with a Vespiquen deck can be pretty just annoying, because it takes a lot of Pokemon to one-shot those big Mega Pokemon. And also, you never know when discarding a special energy might screw your opponent over a little bit. Now for trainers, it's pretty straight to the point, actually. For Battle Compressor, this is an obvious card in here along with Unknown. Battle Compressor, you can discard all these Pokemon, or Pokemon you might not need in the matchup. Maybe you don't need Zebstrika, or maybe you don't want to attack with Raichu, or just something along those lines. You can just discard stuff. I'd probably keep Raichu in the deck, you just never know. But pretty much they're just in here to discard stuff. Also discard supporters. If you have a VS Seeker in your hand and you don't have a supporter, then you can probably like throw an in there and play in, or a Sycamore or something like that, or just get your Xerosec or Lysander ready. You never know. But we also run 4 Ultra Ball. This is kind of like the same thing with the Battle Compressor. You discard 2 cards. So you can be discarding Pokemon from out of your hand, and then just kind of lowering your hand size down for Shaman. And then 4 VS Seeker to get back your supporters. And let's see here. We actually run a Revitalizer. Put 2 Grass Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand. So this is a very good way to just grab your Vespiquen line and put them back in your hand. And then we run 2 Muscle Band. Just let your Vespiquen hit a little harder. If you might be short some damage, it allows you to hit just a little harder and maybe get that one shot. And then where are you at? We run a Forest of Giant Plants. This is very good if you're able to pull off the Forest of Giant Plants Revitalizer combo. Allows you to just immediately evolve into Vespiquen. You don't have to wait a turn or nothing like that. So if you have a huge turn and you go off absolutely on your opponent, and you're able to get like a turn 1 Vespiquen, then that's pretty good. And then we're going to round out the trainers here with a Super Rod, just to shuffle some stuff back into your deck. Maybe a Evital and some Dark Energy for that Night March matchup. Maybe shuffle your Bunnelby back in, so that way you can use Rototiller later on in the game. Your Jirachi if you might need it again. It is a lot of different stuff for your energy. For energy, we run 5 Dark Energy and 4 DCE, and that is going to round out the deck here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm not going to do a gameplay with it, because I absolutely am trash with Vespiquen decks. But that, and I'm extremely tired and I want to go to bed. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and like the video and all that good stuff. But you guys are amazing. Congratulations, because this deck is absolutely amazing. I think the guy's name was like Luca or something. Yeah, it was Luca. Congratulations to Luca for doing an absolutely awesome job at his nationals and doing it with a pretty sweet deck. So yeah, you guys are amazing. I love you. And there's another Epic Pokemon TCG signing out. Take care, guys. I really need to stop doing these videos when I'm like dead tired.